2, 1.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Welcome to KSAT News Now. We are getting through the work week, streaming with you guys on KSAT Plus and KSAT.com every weekday at 11 a.m.
Yes, and we also have a podcast that you can listen into, so don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe. This morning we have a lot to get into, but I do have, Katie Blake's going to be and us in a little while.
All right.
And she posted something on her Instagram yesterday. It was an array of jelly beans. And she was asking which jelly bean color you would choose.
Okay, I thought this had something to do with the Peeps because they did the Katie's Science Lab yesterday morning for the 9 a.m. show, and there were some hot tamale Peeps in part of the newsroom here, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere near that.
Do you like Peeps anyway? Like,
no, I hate them. Just get rid of all of them.
I feel like Peeps should be sweet. They should be sweet, especially, well, they only come out during Easter, right?
I believe so, yes, thankfully.
So.
Just playing. The Peeps. Hating on the Peeps.
Peep hater over here.
Yeah. I remember once we tried to do an experiment where we tried to like microwave them and see like how that turned out. That was
maybe
a
like a
disaster.
s'mores peep, right? A peep s'more. I don't know how you would say that. I don't know.
So jelly beans. Do you have a favorite?
Well,
type?
she put out all the colors, but I prefer a specific brand of jelly beans.
Oh, okay.
I like the Starburst ones.
Okay.
They're really good, yeah.
So that was Alyssa Medina, our producer, chiming in saying that those are so good.
They're my mom's favorite.
Oh, they're her mom's favorite. There you go. As we found out yesterday, Adriana Flores, yes, one of our top viewers. I feel like that's cheating though. Starburst? That's like I thought they were just like regular old school
well,
jelly
they're
beans.
in the shape of jelly.
Okay.
Hers were regular, but anyway, what kind of jelly beans do you guys like? You gotta let us know.
Yeah, definitely hit us up on Facebook Live or on YouTube Live as well, and we will get those comments if you share any of them with us later on during our show. So we're going to be obviously going over some top stories this morning, including COVID. There's the spread of yet another Omicron subvariant, so we're going to hear a little bit from Metro Health on that end. And Hollywood trying to help a Rwanda man with San Antonio connections. This was also the focus of a pretty popular movie.
Yeah, so we're going to be diving into that and also what happened to the Spurs.
Oh, man.
You jinxed it.
I don't know about that. I think they jinxed themselves. Well, they didn't need any bad, they played pretty bad in some spots, but yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we'll get into that, and we're also going to look back and talk about some of the better times for the silver and black. But first, we do have a big development in the New York subway shooting. We've learned the suspect, 62-year-old Frank James, called police to turn himself in yesterday.
So he was arrested in Manhattan. Crime Stoppers put out a request for information, and they now say it was actually James who called the tip line on himself. So James faces federal terror charges for the Tuesday shooting where 10 people were shot. Many more were injured when James fired 33 rounds inside a subway train in New York City.
Some of those injuries coming from the smoke grenades that he set off inside that train car. We also know that he had more than 55 more bullets to get through, but one of his 3 magazines jammed, stopping him in his tracks. So he is expected to appear in court today, and if he's convicted on these charges, he could face up to life in prison.
So there's still a lot to unfold in this shooting and basically some of his motives as well. As we've seen, just why did he do this? We do know investigators are looking into recent videos that he shared on YouTube where he talks about racism and violence in the U.S. and about his own struggles with mental health. So as we just said there, a lot more to kind of unpack, but we do have an arrest here and still a long ways to go in this investigation.
And still, again, one of the biggest topics that people keep mentioning is that despite it being in those close quarters, again, nobody died in this shooting. So that's something to, just one takeaway from it, even though he could have done a lot more damage.
Yeah, especially when you look at some of those videos that have been shared of people just kind of in those close quarters. So you're right, that is some positive news there, but hopefully those people that have been injured can recover and get back to full health. Okay, so COVID is obviously something we know that everyone's, basically getting their lives back to normal. It was nice to have fiesta. A lot of stuff was outdoors, so that was really cool. But COVID cases, this has been relatively calm over the last few months, and we are still at a low risk level, and we've been like this for weeks. So don't want to scare anybody, but Metro Health is still seeing an average of 65 to 70 new cases a day.
Yes, Dr. Anita Kurian, Assistant Director of Metro Health, says San Antonio has seen this low risk level before, and then things would take a turn. So right now, the Centers for Disease Control says the dominant strain of COVID-19 in the U.S. is currently the BA2 Omicron subvariant. It's behind the uptick in cases we're seeing in several states. And Dr. Kurian says the BA2 subvariant, it's not as severe when it comes to infection, but it does spread faster. And because of that, Metro Health is reminding people to continue to get tested if you're exposed or if you are showing symptoms, and of course, get vaccinated or boosted if you have not already. Yeah,
so again, this is basically now a spread in the northeastern part of the country. They have reinstated some mask mandates in, Philadelphia was a city that did it for public indoor areas and some universities as well. So nothing like that here so far. And also when it comes to vaccinations here, about 93% of eligible Bexar County residents have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. 76%, this is good news, are fully vaccinated, and on the national front, the CDC has extended the federal transportation mask mandate for another 15 days, and that means that anyone on airplanes, trains, or public transit is required to wear a mask until at least May 3rd. So this was a story that I actually did yesterday for our 6 o'clock newscast, and again, don't want to scare people and say that we all need to run indoors and we can't live our normal lives, because I did ask Dr. Kurian just about Fiesta, and of course it takes them about a week to get the data, but she said that for the most part, Fiesta, all those events were primarily outdoors, so they don't expect to see like a major surge or a spike or anything like that. But again, some concerns here with this new subvariant, but it looks like vaccinations are still doing okay here in Bexar County. So yeah, people just want to get back to normal.
They want to get back to normal. And I mean, like we said, the subvariant that we're having right now, the symptoms and, they just say that they're not as severe as what we once saw. But we've just been going through this pandemic for so long. I think it's a nice break for people to have been able to go out to Fiesta. They're getting to gather with their families for, Easter. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of those numbers. But again, I think more people are happy about getting back to normal, as you would say.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. So we will continue to follow that there if there is any more information. So turning now to a story gaining a lot of national attention this morning, Priscilla, thanks to some Hollywood elites. So Paul Ruses Bagina, who once called San Antonio home, he is best known for saving 1,200 people during the 1994 Rwandan genocide. Well, he's now serving time behind bars in Rwanda on terrorism charges.
Yes, so his story is the inspiration behind the movie Hotel Rwanda. And yesterday, a human rights group, including Ruses Bagina's daughter and actor Don Cheadle, who plays him in that movie, held a panel in Los Angeles to put pressure on the U.S. to get involved in his case. The
67-year-old human rights activist has been vocal with his criticism of Rwanda's president, and that's part of the reason why his family believes that their father was actually tricked to board a plane in August of 2020 that actually flew him to Rwanda, where he was sentenced to 25 years in prison last September.
Yes, Ruses Bagina is a cancer survivor and he suffers from cardiovascular issues. His family says he has not received the medication he needs while he's been in prison there.
He's sick, he's ill, he hasn't had the medication that he needs for the last 180 days. We probably believe he had a stroke, and we don't have time. We don't have time, and that's why we need your help. We need the help of the international community.
Paul is 67 years old. His health issues are serious and persistent. He needs to have immediate and consistent medical attention, and he needs to be with his family.
All right, and that was Don Cheadle right there, the actor who played Ruses in that movie, Hotel Rwanda. So the purpose of yesterday's panel is to bring more attention to his case and to eventually free him through diplomatic means. Now, dozens of other celebrities are also calling to action for his freedom. And this is a story that we've actually been following for years now. Daniel Villanueva, who produces our sports and also does instant replay, he has talked with the family several times. So this is definitely something that people here in San Antonio have gotten a little bit more aware of when it comes to this case.
Yeah, and I think we'll just have to see if the U.S. does step in and get involved and what change, if any, that they bring about. So we'll be paying attention to this one and just keeping tabs on it on KSAT.com and on air as you know, we learn more about it.
Yeah. Okay, Priscilla, we were talking about Fiesta a little bit earlier, and many people were obviously excited to have Fiesta back and go to places like Market Square, but we were also sadly missing a San Antonio icon who was a big part of the culture and everything here with the city, and that would be Hispanic Elvis.
Yes, the beloved performer, whose real name is John Esquivel, died last month at the age of 76. Now his family wants people to celebrate his life. This weekend, his brother George Cisneros told KSAT that services for Hispanic Elvis will be held this Saturday at the Hillcrest Funeral Home at 1281 Bandera Road, and it will be open to the public.
That is good news. The memorial service will be held from 10 to 2 p.m. and there will be a rosary recited right in the middle of it at noon. The services will also be live streamed on the funeral home's website.
Hispanic Elvis was known for entertaining crowds at Market Square for more than 2 decades. He was born and raised on the city's west side and played in different bands and groups for years before he actually took on that Hispanic Elvis persona, you know, which so many people have grown to love.
Yeah, and so if you're looking at our visual platforms online and obviously now on the podcast, you're seeing all the photos that people had sent in to us when he initially got sick and was taken to the hospital. Obviously did not recover from that hospital visit, but yeah, I kind of missed him, you know, not seeing him around Market Square, especially during this time when there's so many people there. And again, he's just a beloved person here. I found it interesting talking with his brother that he actually really was a fan of James Brown. Not really even of Elvis as much early on in his career, is that James Brown was a big influence for his music and kind of his style. And then he later kind of evolved into the Hispanic Elvis look.
I wonder how that came about, though, you know. But yeah, I feel like he did miss, you know, a really big celebration, but people missed him more importantly. So he really did make an impact here in San Antonio. People loved him. They would look forward to taking photos with him every year. So yeah, just
see him kind of cruising down his bike over there on the west side by the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center. So rest in peace, Hispanic Elvis. And again, those services will be this Saturday. Okay, well, celebrations, unfortunately, for the Spurs, not happening anytime soon. There will be no honking down Commerce as it is all over for our San Antonio Spurs. Priscilla, and you jinxed them.
No, it was not me. We talked about it yesterday, and it was all RJ. He was throwing out that negative energy.
Yeah, no negative energy.
No, so no honking down Commerce or military.
Yes, that was the other spot there.
Military was the other popular spot back in the day. So
right. So the reason is because they sadly lost to the New Orleans Pelicans last night in the NBA play-in game, and it was an interesting game. They came out pretty slow out of the gates and then just were never able to recover. But afterwards, big question, is Coach Pop done with the Spurs? Is he going to ride off into the sunset? What do you think?
No, he can't.
What is your gut feeling tell you right now?
I don't think so. I feel like San Antonio and Spurs fans and RJ won't allow it. He has at least another season or 2 or 3, you know.
I don't think Pop is paying any attention to anything that I'm saying, but well, sure, that'd be great. So yeah, he was asked yesterday after the game about whether he will return, and he said that that was an inappropriate question. So yeah,
not the right time.
Yeah, not the right time. But again, the Spurs season is over as they lose that game. But we want to go back to some better days when we used to go honking all the time, and now we're talking about Spurs legend Tony Parker.
Yeah, so he was just named an all-time NBA European first team. This was done by a vote from fans and influencers.
And Parker retired from the NBA in 2019. So, of course, he played 17 glorious seasons with the San Antonio Spurs. He also won 4 championships here in the Alamo City and also won the Finals MVP in 2007.
Going that far back just really takes me back to celebrating with my family.
Dude,
obviously,
you read my mind.
Yeah, they're Spurs fans, fanatics, I'd say, and like, yeah, that's what we used to do. The Spurs would win, we would go honking. So,
So okay, they won in 2003, 2005, 2007. What were those celebrations like for you? You guys would just do that, or just get together, watch the games, or go out somewhere and watch the games?
So 2003, 2004-ish was when we would watch with my family. 2007, I was a little older, so it was more of a friends gathering, and then we would continue the honking tradition on our own.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yes, needless to say, honking
All
for
right.
the Spurs. This weekend we're going to be honking for Easter and weather.
And jelly beans.
And jelly beans.
Yes.
Well, there's my nose. Every time.
Katie's
Yes.
nose made an appearance.
Jelly beans. Interesting. Let me get the shot here. Interesting replies in my
Yeah.
Instagram messages.
Okay.
I may have to compile some of them, but most people are normal and stray away from like the yellow and the green.
Okay.
Gross.
Those gross ones,
Most
yeah.
people are like pink, orange, and I think that's pretty normal.
Kind of
but the
the more
Starburst
sweet-
ones are good. I haven't had those in a few years. I'm gonna have to get some.
I think that's cheating because I think Starburst is just regular candy. It's not like jelly
Okay.
bean candy. It's just.
Okay.
But they're in the
You're
form
giving me a look.
of jelly beans. So
I'm still looking for your post, Katie.
he
Actually.
probably likes the black jelly beans, you know, the
licorice?
licorice
Give me all the
flavor.
black jelly
Licorice
beans.
ones?
You
Yeah.
like licorice flavor.
I'll take all of them.
Okay, well, fine. It's only on Instagram, so I don't know
Yeah,
if you
I'm
can find it. Okay, let's talk about the weather. We are going to talk a little bit about Easter weekend. We're still fine-tuning rain chances over the holiday weekend. We'll talk about that quickly. This morning, it felt so nice outside. We got down to 60 at the airport. That's right about where we should be this time of year, but it felt really nice, and that's because our air is very dry once again. So tomorrow, yesterday morning, it was muggy. By the afternoon and evening, it was really dry, and we're still sitting in a really dry air mass. Our dew points are in the 30s and 40s, so it's feeling nice and crisp out there, and that played into just how nice it was early this morning. And we're going to keep humidity low for the rest of the day. So your 12-hour forecast here, looking ahead to the afternoon, low 80s by lunchtime, mid to upper 80s this afternoon. It won't be as hot as it was yesterday, but with the low humidity, it'll be nice and comfortable, even with a high around 86, and a little bit breezy at times today. We could have a couple of wind gusts this afternoon and this evening, up as high as about 25 miles per hour. Nothing crazy. If anything, that breeze will just factor into a really comfortable feel for the weather today. Things will change really quickly, though, so if you're a fan of the low humidity and the dry air that just keeps things feeling really comfy out there, really soak it in today, because by tomorrow we go back the other direction. The reason why, we've got an area of surface high pressure that's centered up across North Texas. Around this area of high pressure, winds go clockwise. As this moves east tonight and tomorrow, our wind direction will become southeasterly once again. That's right off the Gulf of Mexico, and a very muggy air mass will move back in overnight. So Friday is going to be a muggy day, more cloud cover as well, even a little bit of drizzle in the morning. Now here's a look at your Easter weekend. We do have some low-end chances of isolated showers and storms both Saturday and Sunday. What you need to know here is both of those storm chances will come late in the day Saturday and then late in the day Sunday. So if Sunday morning, even through lunchtime, early afternoon, if you've got plans, whether it be church or any camping, spending time with friends or family outside, through early afternoon on Sunday, things should be fine. But as we get closer to the evening hours, there could be some storms that fire up to our north. We'll have to watch those closely because they could move in late in the day Sunday into Sunday night. We'll be watching that really closely for you over the next couple of days. I think what more people will notice over the weekend is it's going to be hot again, hot and humid with highs in the mid-90s.
All right. Good stuff there, Katie, as people get ready for, of course, Good Friday and Easter weekend. Should be a fun one here across San Antonio. Katie, I responded to your story. I found it and I responded to it.
What did you say?
I said black, delicious and nutritious.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, some people really do love the licorice.
The licorice is, my mom's a big licorice fan, so I get it.
I can't knock it, but yeah.
All right, RJ,
What
we'll
did
let
you
have
pick?
that.
I picked Starburst.
Oh, Starburst, so that's
But if I had to choose from
color?
the generic ones, like the regular, it'd probably be pink or red.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like red.
Red? Yeah. Those are the best.
Going with red. Okay.
See y'all tomorrow.
Cool.
Thank you,
yeah,
Katie.
check out Katie's Instagram page for more of that, and of course the weather. Thank you very much, Katie. Okay, so a couple people chiming in on Facebook. David Perales, who is one of our milestone followers, my guy David here, says that Spurs championship parties were the best. You agree?
I agree, but you didn't share. What do you remember of these parties? Would you go home?
Well, okay, so I got to San Antonio in 2010. Yeah. So I did get to cover the 2014 title, and that was unbelievable. But that was one of those, they had just lost to Miami the year before. Pretty heartbreaking loss for the Spurs, and then came back and got it done. So yeah. And I think we have one more comment here from David.
Yes, he says, rest in peace, Hispanic Elvis. My condolences to his family. Funny guy, he's gonna be missed.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, thank you very much, David, for chiming in with that. And we thank you guys for being with us this morning on KSAT News Now, of course, following the latest news and developments throughout the day. Priscilla, thank you very much for hanging out with me for the past 2 days.
Yeah, it was nice to join you for 2 days in a row. So, everyone, I hope you all have a happy Easter weekend if you're celebrating, and stay safe.
There you go. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have a good one.